Hello and a very warm welcome. Today we're going to unpack a really fascinating piece of wisdom from the Quran. It's one of those ideas that's so counterintuitive, it kind of flips what we normally think right on its head. We're going to look at why getting the answers we've been searching for doesn't always bring us closer together. Okay, let's dive in.
So this is it. This one verse from Surah Yunus is our roadmap for this entire explainer. Just let that sink in for a second. It's really a story in three parts, right? You've got this beautiful state of blessing, then this sudden moment of division, and finally, a promise of how it all gets sorted out. But it's that middle part, that pivot, that's just so powerful and honestly pretty shocking.
And this leads us to the big question for today. We usually think, don't we, that if we just had more information, more clarity, all our disagreements would just disappear. But this verse, it suggests something way more complicated, and I think something a lot closer to what we actually experience as human beings.
So let's go back to the beginning of the story. The verse opens up by painting this picture of a community living in a state of just complete peace and favor from God. It was, for all intents and purposes, an ideal situation. A true gift.
What's really cool is the specific Arabic phrase that's used here, mubawa'a sidq. This isn't just saying they had a place to live. The term means an honorable and agreeable dwelling. It really paints this vivid picture of a society that is stable, it's dignified, and it's blessed with everything it could possibly need to just thrive.
So basically, this community had it all. They had a secure home, good, lawful food and resources, and real social stability. And in that state of blessing, they were totally united. This is our starting point, this peaceful, harmonious place before everything changed. And now, we get to the twist. This is where the whole story takes a sharp, unexpected turn, and it reveals this profound paradox about knowledge and about us.
I mean, think about it. Whenever we see an argument, what's the first thing we tend to say? Oh, people are just ignorant. Or if they only knew the real facts, they'd agree with me. Our default setting is to believe that ignorance is the real enemy of unity.
But this verse just flips that whole idea upside down. It says, they did not differ until knowledge had come to them. So the disagreement, it didn't happen because they were in the dark. No, it happened precisely after they got the very thing that was supposed to unite and guide them. And that right there is the core of the paradox.
And this is such a critical point. The knowledge, or al-ilm, that we're talking about here isn't just random facts or general info. This is detailed divine guidance. We're talking about explicit scripture, clarified laws, basically the fine print on how to live. It was the detailed answer key. And yet, its arrival is what triggered the division.
So, if the knowledge itself wasn't the problem, then what was? Well, this brings us to the most important, and maybe the most difficult, part of the whole equation, the human factor.
You see, there's a deep lesson in here that divine gifts, whether we're talking about wealth, or power, or even profound knowledge, they aren't just prizes to be enjoyed, they're also tests. They're responsibilities, and they have a way of revealing the true character of the people who receive them.
So what happened was, when this detailed knowledge arrived, it suddenly became this new thing to fight over. People started arguing about who had the right interpretation. It created competition for who got to be the leader, who held authority. Some people used it to get ahead in the world, to gain status. All of a sudden, you have human passion and pride and ego all tangled up with God's guidance.
And this is really the key insight for all of us. The problem wasn't a lack of rules or a faulty message. The problem was, and it often still is, how we as human beings engage with that guidance. The flaw wasn't in the divine message, but in the hearts of the people receiving it.
So what does this ancient story actually mean for us, right here, right now? We live in a world that is just drowning in information, but so often feels starved of unity. Let's look at how the verse ends and what it asks of us.
The verse closes with this incredibly powerful reminder. After showing us how easily we fall into disagreement, it points to the ultimate resolution. God will be the final judge. Now, this isn't supposed to make us just sit back and do nothing. It's meant to put our own arguments into the right perspective. This really calls on us to adopt a certain attitude when we face these kinds of disagreements. First, humility. We have to accept that the final, perfect judgment call, well, that's not our job. Second, patience. We have to learn to navigate our differences without this need to completely crush the other side. And third, honesty. We have a real duty to engage with sincerity, with fairness, and with good intentions.
So if there's one single thing to take away from all of this, it's probably this.
Knowledge is a powerful tool, but it absolutely requires wisdom to be used for unity. When our egos get in the way, even the clearest guidance can become a weapon. But we can find a lot of comfort and a healthy dose of humility in remembering that the final arbiter of all our disputes is the Lord.
And that just leaves us with one final thought to really chew on, in our own lives. Think about your family or your job or your community. Can you think of a time when getting more information or more rules or more clarity actually made things more divided? It's a really powerful question that this ancient verse makes so relevant for us today. Thank you so much for joining me.